I rise because this is an incredible honor for me. It is an opportunity to celebrate Black history and to celebrate someone who was iconic in creating Black excellence and excellence in general in this chamber, and that is Senator Velmanette Montgomery. I think when Carter Woodson thought about Black history, he thought about all that's untold and all that we have to be grateful for in terms of the contributions of Black people in this country. He understood that unless we spoke of our history, people would find it easy to ignore, to marginalize, to rewrite, and to decide what was important about our contributions and what were not. And those of us who have had the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of unnamed giants appreciate these moments, these months, these hours, these days, where we set aside time to celebrate those who have made a difference in our lives that people might never even know of or hear about. This past year of reckoning, where we have been experiencing the twin pandemics of the COVID-19 virus, as well as we saw the pandemic of racism, I think it made people look at Black history and really understand in so many ways the struggles and how, although we have come a very long way, I am standing in this chamber as a majority leader, there is so much untold, and so many of our institutions that have been part of a systemic oppression of people because of the color of their skin. I have heard from so many people of all different nationalities, skin tones, saying, oh, I never knew this, I never knew that. And sadly, because of the situation around COVID, I think people for the first time were able to see things in a way that they hadn't seen them before. It's not that what happened with the murder of George Floyd had never happened before, but I think it was seen in a different way. That brings me to Senator Velmanette Montgomery, because Senator Montgomery was the second African-American woman to serve in this chamber. The first was Constance Baker Motley. She was elected in 1964 and only spent a year here because she was tapped to become the borough president. It was 20 years between the election of Constance Baker Motley and Velmanette Montgomery. It was a whole generation that had passed before Senator Montgomery graced the floors of this chamber, the only African-American woman here. And when she came, representing her Brooklyn community with Fort Greene, and so many people who believed in the power of government to change their lives, and believed that this powerful woman, who was a daycare director and a community activist and doing things for the community, would be that person to come and tell their story. And every day, she came and told the story. She wasn't necessarily heard. She was in the minority while she was telling the story, and she was a minority within the minority of the Democrats, within the minority of the women, and she was the only African-American woman. And then, history making again, she was the only senator that actually ever had given birth to a child while they were a senator. Even that part of her service was historic. But it's what she fought for. When she fought for school based health clinics because she knew her constituents didn't have access. When she fought for the right for incarcerated parents whose kids were being snatched away, never to be seen or heard of again. When she fought to raise the age so that young people weren't just incarcerated without protections. When she fought to make sure that kinship care was part of extending the family, because when these kids were yanked out of homes, who would take care of them? Grandparents. Velmanette recognized the fact that kinship care was important to get that support. She was fighting to make sure the parolees people who had a chance to get heard in parole. She fought for women not to be shackled when they were giving birth if they were also incarcerated. In fact, Senator Montgomery's legislative legacy looks like this. She spent more years than any Democrat spent in this chamber, and she got a chance, finally, to see so many of the things that she'd fought for long ago because she understood the injustice in the criminal justice system. She understood the inequities in education and access. She understood how marginalized people were and how it hampered their progress, and she fought and she fought and she fought. And finally, over the past 2 years, most of the things she fought for has become part of what we are all proud of in this chamber. When I looked at all of the different awards we have, and we have awards that acknowledge people for everything, but mostly they're people outside of our chamber. And any of these things, Velmanette, you would be qualified for. But I thought it's time that this chamber recognize people like you, whose legacy has made not only the chamber better, but each and every one of us better. Before I ever knew there was a chance that I would be a senator, I came here on a weekend, a caucus weekend, and I saw you, the very first black woman senator I ever saw. I, Roxanne, the Ada Smiths, and the Ruth Hassel Thompsons, and the Summer Brooks, we thank you. So, because we're thanking you, you do get a chance to become the very first person to receive the Senate Majority Leader Legislative Legacy Award. It is customized for you. You all can clap. That's not, do not be afraid. And we're so used to being alone in here, we don't even know how to make noise anymore. But this award is custom designed for you. It will be custom designed in the future for the next person, but I know because of your proud heritage and it's Black History Month, this kente cloth design represents you, and I'll just read what your award says. It says it's in recognition of a lifetime of legislative accomplishments that have made meaningful and deep changes to the lives of women and children of the state of New York. Pioneering efforts to raise the age of criminal responsibility for children, providing leadership and consequential mentorship to generations of women, building the foundation for funding youth build that supports and mentors young people, championing school-based health clinics across the state, and for your unwavering commitment to protecting the dignity of the incarcerated and their families, notably banning the use of shackles on women while giving birth, supporting the Close to Home program. Thank you for being a persistent beacon for truth and justice. Congratulations.